We've all seen the BOLO videos that are all over YouTube. Be on the lookout for these items. But if you're watching those YouTube videos and you're trying to figure out which BOLOs are hot right now, you're already behind. And you're not just a little bit behind, you have already lost the race. By the time something becomes a YouTube BOLO, there are already people way ahead of you, way ahead of you. You're behind the people who saw the video before you. You're behind the people who are already out there sourcing whatever that item is. You're behind the people who made the video for sure. And you're behind the people that were there at the beginning of the trend and started it in the first place. All of these people have left the starting line and you're just now getting to the track. So the question is, how do you get there first? Because here's the problem with chasing BOLOs. A BOLO isn't the beginning of a trend. At best, it's the middle. It's the point where there's enough people that have already figured it out and they're already talking about it. And by that point, people have already been finding those items. They've already been buying them cheap. They've already been reselling them. And that's before the video ever pops up for you to find it. If your strategy is waiting for someone to tell you what's hot, you're always stepping into this thing late instead of chasing trends. What if you understood one of the reasons why trends happen in the first place? Trends, BOLOs, hot items, they'll make a lot more sense and they'll be easier for you to predict once you understand just a little bit about what drives them in the first place. Even though I've mentioned this briefly before, this isn't just some wild theory of mine or a random observation. I want to take a closer look at one way to predict which BOLOs may actually be popping up soon, before the rest of the crowd catches on. Researchers have found that trends tend to repeat in cycles, right around that 20-year mark. Psychology backs this up too. We're most connected to the things from our teenage years. And that's what people come back and buy once they have some discretionary income. The resale market is also showing that one of the biggest drivers of what's selling right now is nostalgia. The premise behind this is actually really simple. The trends that affect resellers don't happen randomly. They also follow this pattern. And that pattern shows up in two closely related cycles. The first cycle is at about that 20 to 25 year mark. And the second cycle is longer. It's a secondary cycle, usually shows up at that 40 to 50 year mark. And obviously the timelines aren't exact. They don't have to be exact. They're not meant to be exact, but it gives you a time frame that you can start paying attention to. When you start paying attention to those time frames, things stop looking random really fast. The 20 to 25 year cycle is where I think most of the opportunity lies. That's when people who grew up around something finally have the money to go back and buy it. Think about it. They saw these things that they thought were iconic about the time that they were graduating from high school. Fast forward 20 years and they've got stable jobs, maybe even a little bit of spending cash. And then all of a sudden, they decide to go back and buy that band t-shirt that they either couldn't get back in the day or they just wore it until it fell off of them. Here's a great example of this cycle kicking in. It's the iPhone. The iPhone came out about 20 years ago, 2007. One recently sold on eBay, brand new, in the box, for $8,000. Not because it's the best phone, clearly not, but because it represents a moment in time that an awful lot of people identify with. The 40 to 50 year cycle, it's a little bit different. That's where things stop feeling just old and nostalgia kicks in really hard at this point. These are the things that we start feeling are important. They remind us of grandma and grandpa. Or it's the group of people like me who are reaching retirement age, and once again, we're grabbing those things from our youth that bring that strong nostalgia feeling back. And this is where you see a lot of the long-term values show up. The pricing becomes more stable. Here's an important note about these trends that I think you need to be aware of. Obviously, not all of the items come back in the same way. There are a few things we can pay attention to when predicting what might have growing value. Disposable items or one-use items. Also those things that were used up or played with really roughly. Items that were used up or played with roughly, they tend to rise in value faster than things that were built to last because the durable stuff is still around. And if I want to go buy them, those things may still be out there. But the stuff that got used up or destroyed becomes more scarce. Think about something like the action figure Stretch Armstrong. Most of them didn't survive. If you actually had one of these, you already know how it ended. You had a bunch of prepubescent engineers out there doing some serious hands-on and off-the-books experiments on these things to just see how far will Stretch Armstrong stretch before he pulls apart. I pulled mine apart. Every kid I knew pulled theirs apart at some point, or what's inside of it, what makes it stretchy. So what happens is, when demand comes back, the supply simply isn't there. And that's when prices start to move. So knowing all of this, let's take a look at what this actually means for you and I as resellers. If you want to stop chasing trends and hunting bolos that other people are telling you about, which obviously you do, you need a simple way to check and see if something is starting to move. Ask yourself, is this about 20 years from when it was popular? If so, that should get your attention. That's the first step. Step 2, check the interest. Man, Google Trends is terrific for this. You can look up terms to see if people are searching them. And remember, you're not looking for something that's already peaked. You're looking for those items that are just beginning to make that turn. We want to know if people are looking this item up. And then step 3, we're going to check the sales of these items. I want to make sure they're moving some. I want to make sure people are buying it and not just talking about it. So I'm going to look at the sold listings and I'm going to compare that to what's available. The sold to available ratio is super important. If things are selling consistently and there aren't a ton of them listed, that's a really, really strong signal. When timing, interest, and sales all start lining up, that's when you're early. So let me give you an example of what this actually looks like. I was looking at an item I think fits this perfectly. It's the Canon PowerShot A520, and it came out in 2005. The videos that it shot now have this very distinct vintage digital look. And because of that, people are starting to use them to create vintage style shorts and reels without using any filters. Right now, those things are still relatively inexpensive. The used ones are in that $40 to $70 range, but already, if you look at the best surviving examples, those that are new in the box, those prices are already starting to move. But I think that it's not a bolo yet. Most people still think of those as cheap, old, outdated cameras. But it wouldn't surprise me a bit if in the next few years, the best examples of that camera start climbing significantly in price. And that's what a trend looks like before everybody agrees that it's a trend. Most resellers, they don't lose because they're wrong about what they're doing. They're not wrong when they're out looking for things. They lose because they're late to the game. They're starting after everybody else is talking about something. And by the time something feels obvious, it's because it's usually obvious and everybody else is seeing it. The prices are already up. Competition is already high. And now you're fighting with everybody else for what's left. You're fighting over the scraps. Instead of asking what's hot right now, start asking what's about to matter again. The goal isn't to just keep running faster. I'm not interested in trying to outpace everyone else. I'm interested in starting the race before the other people know that we're racing. I want to be the one that's to the track first. Once you understand these cycles, you can stop chasing bolos and you can start getting there first. Here's what I want you to do. Think of a few things you remember from several years ago. Try to pick those things that you haven't seen much lately. Extra credit for those things that you remember fondly. those things that give you that spark of nostalgia. And then look them up. Check the sold listings and see if they're starting to move. And if you find something really interesting, you might add that to your pre-BOLO list. I truly appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.